Hi, I'm Bybreen Samuels and welcome back to another episode of Soul Stirring Astrology, where I give you my textured take on the world of astrology. On November the 14th there is a full moon in Taurus, and the moon in Taurus means that it's exalted, so it's in a very powerful position here. Which means the fact it's a full moon that the sun is opposing it, and the sun this time around is in Scorpio. So some of the themes that might arise in your life will be Taurian and Scorpion in nature. So it could be about intensity, inner resources, feelings, power, the misuse of power, stability, looking at how you can create additional wealth, looking at what it is that you're holding on to desperately, but also what you need to let go of, and transforming those deep desires so that you are able to bring more stability and harmony in your life. So with this full moon in Taurus, what you're looking at on one level is this sense that you want to be cultivating your inner resources, so as a result of this you're able to manifest physical things in your life. So that could be, the nice home, or it could be taking fabulous holidays around the world. It could be about pursuing extreme wealth, just in terms of making yourself feel really comfortable and living a luxurious lifestyle. Now you need to be mindful, because your pursuit of all of this means that you could actually be living on an internal level a very sterile life, because you're just focused on money, 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 and grabbing money at any cost. Now the fact that the sun is in Scorpio and it's opposing the moon, here you've got this sense of a polarized world, and what can happen is that you grow in more consciousness around what's missing in your world. And what could be missing are the sense of relationships that you have, what's the quality of them, and more importantly, what's the quality of your relationship to yourself, because we're looking at inner resources. And the fact that we've got Venus involved here, because Venus rules Taurus, Venus is about your values. That's one of the things that she signifies. What is it that you really value and care about? And what can you do to live these values in the world? So I want to share with you the myth of King Midas. And so it's well known that, he had this call for, everything I touch, I want it to turn to gold. And so one night he was at home, he was in his palace, and he came across Silenus in his garden, and Silenus was drunk and disorderly. Silenus happened to be the tutor of the god Dionysus. So what King Midas did was he looked after Silenus for the next 4 to 5 days to make sure that, he got him back on his feet. He then took him back to the palace. He took him back to where Dionysus was residing. Dionysus was very, very happy about this, and he wanted to reward King Midas. Midas wasn't backwards in coming forwards in terms of taking up the offer. So Dionysus said to him, "What is it that you want?" And, Midas was really ecstatic and just said, "Please grant me the wish that anything and everything that I touch turns to gold." And so Dionysus said, "Your wish is granted," and he chuckled away and walked away. Midas, on the other hand, was so caught up with this new superpower that he didn't take account of the chuckle that Dionysus gave. Anyway, during that day, everything that Midas touched turned to gold, and he was beside himself with happiness. Later on in the evening, he started to get ravenous. He was really hungry. So he called his servants to bring him some food. But before that, they brought him a bowl of water. When he put his hands into the water turned to frost and ice, and this alarmed him. Servants brought the food. He put a forkful into his mouth, and it turned to metal. And so he was completely traumatized by this, and recognized this superpower actually was causing him so much pain in his life that he actually was humbled. He saw a servant eating, some delicious food, and was envious and jealous of this. Later on in the evening, one of his daughters reached out to him, and when she touched him, she turned into a statue of gold, and so he was completely devastated. He made his way back to Dionysus and pleaded with him, please, 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 return me to my normal life. And Dionysus said, there are times when man's truest desires are unwise. And he remembered how kind Midas was to Selenus. So he said to him, go and bathe in the healing waters of the river. And when he did, the superpowers left him and he was restored back to his sense of humanity, his sense of humbleness, and his sense of connecting with what it is that truly matters. Now with this full moon, it's pointing you towards what is it that you really value. The reason being is because Taurus is involved here. Taurus is one of the things, cultivating values, cultivating the things that are meaningful. Scorpio is about cutting away the elements, the inessentials in life, so that you're really able to focus on, connect with, and live out what really brings your heart alive. Because we're dealing with Scorpio, it's about your core energy. What is it that you're really passionate about? What is it that truly allows your whole being to resonate comfortably in the world? And that's what you're seeking to balance, bringing what you value to what makes you resonate, and then creating that or transforming that so you can bring it into concrete reality. So one of my values, for example, is compassion. And one of the ways in which I live out compassion is that I don't eat any animal products. And so therefore, as a vegan, this is one way that I can demonstrate and deepen my own sense of self-love, self-worth, and just bring more harmony and vibrations back into my world. And so, which brings me really to the question of the day. And the question of the day is, what is it that you truly value in your life? Or another way of putting it is, what is it that you stand for? And so with this full moon, as much as there may be this pull to be creating all this material stuff, you know, wealth and finances and money and the fabulous lifestyle, which has its place, but it's not at the expense of what it is that you truly, truly value. And which brings me to the quote of the day, which is by Rollo May. And what he said is that there are times when one has to forego the familiar and the secure. So what is it that you can actually let go of that enables you to rise into your highest value? So as always, put your answers in the comment box below. You know, I love to connect with you. Feel free to share this episode with other people in your network. And please feel free to like and subscribe to my channel. Until then, I will see you again on the next episode.